Welcome back for the next segment of creating my RPG console game inside of CSharp Visual Studio programming language. And today we're going to be going over if statements and a little bit of looping. So here, where we left off, you ask the player what is his name, you read in the player's name, and then right now you thank the player for entering his name. Now we want to say that you have encountered an enemy in the field. You're just walking through and you encountered an enemy, and we want to give you a list of items a list of the things that you can do, and then you type either 1, 2, 3, or 4 to do an attack. Let's say defend with the shield, things of that nature. So we're going to say write out to the screen about the enemy attack. So what we're going to do here is we're going to do what we've been doing above, which is writing out the line, and we're going to say, I'm just going to say, just to make it personalized, we're going to say player's name. So in this case, David, space, you have encountered an enemy. Why do I feel like I spelled all that wrong? What would you like to do? And then here, I'm going to say 1, single attack, 2, multiple, or I'm going to go 3 strike attack. I'm going to say 3 because it looks better next to the 2. 3. What should we do for 3? How about we let's do 5 strike attack. Let's defend. Defend, and then 4 is attempt to run away. We're going to do that. Now, I want to know what you chose, so just like before, when we've read the line right here, we're going to store what action the player chose. So here, string player's action equals console.readline, whatever he wrote for that line. So if we run the program, which again, for those jumping into the second one, second video here, I hit F5. You could also run the program here by hitting the play button here, but F5 is just a shortcut key to launch it. So you didn't see me click it because I hit F5. So what is your name? In this case, still David. It says, thank you for entering your name, David. David, you have encountered an enemy. Oh no. Oh no. What would you like to do? Single attack, 3 strike attack, defend, or attempt to run away? Now, I'm just saying on the screen here, I don't necessarily like how this looks. I expect it, in my mind, to have it listed down. So how can we do that? Here, the strings, they have special escape characters you can do to specify that you want something on a new line. So in here, I'm going to do /, then n, which, as you can see, turns a different color, is a special character that means go take this string and put the rest of the string on a new line. So I'm going to copy this just to kind of make it easier. I'm going to paste it in the beginning of each one of these numbers. So now when I run the program, you'll see that when I enter my name as David, it is now down lines, and it looks better, like you're trying to choose something here. And of that, on that note, kind of, I want to do a little space after entering my name, and I want to do 2 spaces before the attack. This isn't necessarily for any reason. It's just personal preference for me, that I think it looks better if you have it spaced out a little like that. So you can see now, just thank you for entering your name, and then it's like space. Now it's like, now we have started the game. David, you have encountered an enemy. What would you like to do? Oh, dun, 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 like the Pokemon. So I can enter a number. So in this case, I'm going to enter 1 for a single attack, and that's it, because that's all we programmed. So here we have the player's action, which is 1. and that isn't in the string. So now we're going to be learning about if statements. We're going to check what action the player took. Now in this case, we have a branch. 4 things could happen. Well, technically 5 things could happen. 1, the player could type in 1. 2, the player could type in 2. 3, the player can type in 3. And 4, the player could type in 4. And 5, the player can type in something completely different, like David again. And that would not be valid because that we only want you to be able to choose 1 through 4. So in this case, I'm going to type in an if statement. When you say if, you'll see here it comes up with a code snippet for the if statement, and if you hit tab twice, it inserts the if statement. If I hit that, it automatically writes it for me, and I don't have to worry about it. But if you were to write it yourself, which I'd recommend doing it the if tab method, if tab. As you can see, it wrote it completely for me. It's a lot faster, makes you more efficient. But if you just want to get into it, just so you know and kind of learn, if you put 2 parentheses, and then the beginning squiggly, and then an end squiggly. And basically, what does an if statement do? It says run the code in between these 2 squigglies if the code that's in between these 2 parentheses comes out to be true. True, it goes in there, and then false, it doesn't go in there. So you have to have Boolean logic inside of this area at the top, where like in here. So you'll have to have Boolean logic inside these 2 parentheses in order to come out with either true or false. Now, what is Boolean logic? Well, we have a couple options. So at the moment, I'm going to just do bools to kind of show with being either true or false. Now, Booleans can be true or false, so I'm just going to cheat and just type in true or false. So if true, this if statement saying that if the result of this equation is true, which I'm saying it is true because true, then I go in here and run this code. If it is false, then it does not go and run that code. So I can say, is this true or false? Now, if this is true or false, you're saying run this code if one of these things is true. If this is true or this is true. Well, this one's true, so you would run the code. If I want to say and, if the left part is true and the right part is true, then we run this code. Then we would not run the code here right now, because if true and false both are not true, so it would fail. Then now to kind of show that in other forms, you could kind of say like does 1 equal. Now if you remember, if I said 1 equals 2 like that, it kind of thinks that it's assignment. It's assigning it, which you can see is the error message that comes up. The left hand of an assignment must be a variable property or indexer. Now that statement right there is because it thinks the left side is going to be a variable that you're storing the right part in. We're not doing that in this case. We want to compare if 1 equals 2, so we put equals. So I'm saying now, does 1 equal 2? This will always come out to false, so this code will inside that if statement will never run because 1 does not equal 2. However, if I put an exclamation mark and an equals, this is saying does not equal. So does 1 not equal 2? Yes, true. 1 does not equal 2, so this comes out to be true. So then we run this code. You can also do greater than or equal. Is 1 greater than or equal to? Is 1 greater than 2? In this case, it's false. Same thing for the greater than or equal. Is 1 less than 2? Yes, true. I run the code. Is 1 greater than or equal? Less than or equal to 2? True. I will run the code because it's less than. If I did something like this, 2 is less than or equal to 2, that would also be true because it's equal. And then I could do something like and 3 equals 3, so it's 2 less than or equal to 2? Yes. And 3 equals 3? Yes. So true and true is true, so we run the code. But if I said, and 3 does not equal 3, this is false, so then this part is true, this part is false, so it's true and false, so that's not true and true, so that does not run the code. So basically, we can run a bunch of things of that nature. And if you want, you can group the results. So let's say if I said, if this and this, all this equals true, or 4 is greater than 3, so it's like, is 4 greater than 3? Yes. Or 3 equals 3, and 2 is less than or equal to 2. True. It goes. Basically, you can just combine a bunch of stuff here and make it work. So here we have player's action. So we're going to check if player's action equals. Now this is a string, so we have to compare it to a string, and we're going to say 1. If the player's action equals 1, he typed in 1, and that's it. Then we run this code. So here I'm going to say write out that we chose 1. So we're going to say console write line, and here we're going to say you chose to single attack. Exclamation point. It's very important. Okay, so right here, check that the player, what action the player took, which is 1, and then we write that he attacked. So to show that, I'm going to say my name's David, and now what do you want to do? I'm going to choose 1 and then hit enter, and it's like you chose to single attack. Yay! If I do that again, I'm going to just enter a random name. Now what did I choose? I'm going to choose 3 to defend, and you'll see nothing happened because I did not. Player's action does not equal 1, so this if statement right here, it went past. So now we want to learn, what do you want to do if the player's action is not 1? Right now we're saying if this part is true, then run the code inside here. Else run other code. So in this case, if player's action equals 1, this, else run other code. So here we could say you chose something else, which you'll see if players equal 1, you run here, else if it is any single thing other, it runs this. So just to show that, I'm going to do 3 again, just to be defend, and it says you chose something else. If I did 4, if I did 5, etc., it's something else. So that's what would come out there. So in this case, I want to see if the player did 1, 2, 3, or 4, or something else. So I can actually do else if, and then do another if statements here. So I'm going to copy and paste this, and then I'm going to copy and paste these multiple times. So here, if the player chose 2, 3, or 4, and I'm going to write out, and I'm going to copy these parts, I'm going to pop these in here, and basically say what they chose. So I'm going to say let the user know he chose something else. Write out that we chose 4, and then 3, and then 2, and then you chose to multi-attack, which I think is what I named it. Then we're going to go with 3-strike attack, defend, and run away. You chose to 3-strike attack, you chose to defend, and then you chose to run away. Alright, so if we check this out now, we can see that all our options are now chosen. So we're going to do David, and I'm going to, first I'm going to type in something that's random. You chose something else is what happens, because that's the else case. It's when we ran all that other code, and it's nothing that we wanted, it was the else case. But if I did 3, you chose to defend, 2 is the 3-strike attack, 4 is to run away. And then we saw that 1 works.